Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to A1 Forever Sports, the show that's cool and fly too. I am Chris Tip Moore. Welcome back and be generational because it's always time to be in. Don't you settle for less because you can always have more with the vision you dig. So today I wanted to have something a little different, have a little countdown in mind. Since shout out to my brother Berto for setting the tone on that, man. So came up with some few ideas of my own, and I wanted to present them to you guys, and hopefully you guys like the countdown. You dig? So you already know me. I don't like to talk too long. I want to kind of get into it. But first and foremost, I want to say shout out to all my supporters. Thank you, everyone. A1 Forever Sports is now over 1,000 supporters. I don't like the word subscribers, if you know me, so I'm going to say supporters. So I really thank everybody who has tuned in, like, commented, subscribed, and continue to help me get out there in the algorithm. I really appreciate it. But today is that day, y'all. I want to kick it off with the Atlanta Falcons top 10 game winners. Shoot, man, let's get into it. Number 10. Let's see. Wonder if anybody's going to know what number 10 is. Now, I know some people may say, oh, this game right here, that's not necessarily a game winner. I'm going to explain. Because we starting off the countdown with the opening day massacre. Jerry Glanville and the bad boy Falcons taking on his former team, the Houston Oilers. The Falcons, they put the Oilers in a Punisher's chamber, man, for lack of a better term, because they caused 6 turnovers and 16 penalties. 6 of those penalties were for unnecessary roughness. Yeah, you already see what's going on out here, man. They had Warren Moon in the blender, and the nail in the coffin was an INT by Mr. Primetime himself. As you see it right here, Deion Sanders taking it to the house. Absolutely a blowout. The offense had 301 total yards and 206 passing, 95 rushing. But the defense, they had 6 takeaways. You know what I'm saying? They just straight up bullied these Houston Oilers. It was a great return. And also not necessarily a game winner. The game was already in hand. That's another reason why it's number 10. But definitely the game was over after this INT because the Oilers, having Warren Moon, did try to make a comeback, but was unsuccessful due to Mr. Primetime, Deion Sanders. And that's going to be number 10. Let's keep this thing rolling. This countdown's not going to be taking up too much of you guys' time. Number 9. Yeah, do y'all remember number 9? It's kind of controversial. I know it's kind of controversial considering the fact that who our quarterback is right now. Definitely controversial considering the fact that who our quarterback is. But, I mean, what can I say, man? It happened. It happened, right? What can I say? So number 9 on the countdown is Robert Alford. Overtime interception versus the then Redskins, now Commanders, and then quarterback Kirk Cousins. It is what it is, man. It was a game winner. Check it out.
He's only been sacked once today. Pressure coming. He gets rid of it. That's intercepted. Robert Alford. It's going to be a victory for the Falcons. Touchdown on the pick 6.
Yes, sir. Again, Robert Alford with the pick 6 to end the game. Now, this was big for Atlanta because at the time, first of all, Matty Ice did not have his best game in this one, too. He had 2 interceptions and a lost fumble. Devontae Freeman, he did give the Falcons the lead at the end of the regulation. Washington sent it into overtime with a field goal. Washington gains the first possession. And, of course, boom, interception. And, again, this was big because this is back in 2015, and the Falcons became 5-0 after this particular game. So Robert Alford's pick 6 on Kirk Cousins. Controversial, maybe, because he's our quarterback. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a game winner for the Atlanta Falcons for the logo. So that's why I made this list, you dig? I want to continue, guys. Again, you know, I said I'm not going to hold you guys long. This is going to be fairly like a quick list right here. But I definitely wanted to get this idea out to you guys. So, man, appreciate the ones who are in here checking this out with me. Right now, I'm not understanding what's going on with my Twitter feed. Twitter feed is actually tripping right now. I think I got to do something else about that. So for those who are on my Twitter, oh, man, let me see if I can make a quick adjustment. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make a quick adjustment. Nah, man. So I'm gonna have to share this on Twitter another time. It's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Moving forward, though, sorry about that. Keeping this thing rolling. Keeping this thing going. Yeah, man. Everybody celebrating. Again, this was a big time, man. This made the Falcons 5-0 at the time. Let's check it out again. Yep. Wide receiver slip. Next thing you know, Rocky to the house. Rocky to the house.
Communication between receiver and quarterback was off, and Robert Alford comes up with the play of the game, interception for a touchdown.
Beautiful stuff right there, man. Beautiful stuff. Number 8. Yes, number 8 is the first meeting in 2016, the shootout between the Packers and the Falcons. Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan, they went at it, man. The two quarterbacks combined for 7 touchdowns. And back in 2016, that was something nice. That was a thing. Mohamed Sanu on this particular drive, man, when the Falcons, they were down, they had to try to come back, fighting tooth and nail to try to come back. And Mohamed Sanu, he showed his value on this drive, along with Devontae Freeman, as you're seeing right here, man, running hard. Mohamed Sanu actually had 9 catches, 84 yards in this game. So, again, you know, he was showing that he was valuable, as you see on this catch right here. And, man, this also was big for Atlanta. For one of the biggest reasons that this win was big for Atlanta would definitely be because the Falcons had just came off of back-to-back losses. So this win right here, even though it was close, and in the past 2 losses had been close too. So this was another close game that you seeing Atlanta taking care of business, trying to come back. Matty Ice, I believe here it is right here. Game winner. Let's get it. Mo Sanu. Yep, number 8 on the list. 2016.
Well, he ran second fiddle to A.J. Green with the Bengals. He runs second fiddle to Julio Jones in Atlanta. But he was the man on this drive.
Yeah.
He comes at Jake Ryan, and he's been running those crossing routes.
Beautiful. Beautiful, man. Matt Ryan with the dime. Perfect. Number 7. Woo! Remember the last time we was on prime time. Sunday Night Lights shining on Atlanta. You already see it. Julio to the house against the Philadelphia Eagles. Matt Ryan to Julio Jet Jones. 54-yard touchdown. Jake Matthews with probably the block of all blocks, in place, and freed our man Jet Jones to go straight to the house, straight to the touchdown. Carson Wentz looking crazy. Yeah, man. That was one of the best receivers in the league right there at one point in time, man. Julio Jones. Yeah, man, pose for him one time. Why not? This right here was so big. This was like the year that the prime time attention just started to slip after this game right here for the Atlanta Falcons, unless y'all want to consider the London games being prime time. Me personally, I don't necessarily consider that. This is Sunday night football right here. And this was also a game winner This right here, those were the final points. Falcons win 24-20. Sunday Night Football. Matty Ice to Julio Jones. Gutsy call by Dan Quinn, too, by the way. And yeah, here you go. Jake Matthews. Yes, please show that block. You know I had to put the beautiful block in here. It is. Boop! Out of there, man. Just laid homeboy out. And it's over with for him. Julio to the crib. Julio to the crib. Dirt Cutter. Yeah, Dirt Cutter was definitely our offensive coordinator at the time. So funny. All right, moving on. Number 6. We're going old school with this one. Old school with this one. And you know, I like this one because, again, back then the 49ers were our heated rivals back in 1983. And the Falcons in this particular game, they were down. Things weren't going right for the Falcons. They were down by 14. But luckily, you know, behind the arm of Steve Bartkowski, the legs of William Andrews and Gerald Riggs, as you're seeing in this clip right here. And most Falcon fans know that the NFC West used to be the Falcons' home before they moved to the NFC South in 2002. So this right here, as you're seeing with 2 seconds left, here it is. Steve Bartkowski unloading a Hail Mary pass in the air. Seems like forever. And then all of a sudden it comes down, and who does it find? White Shoes. Billy White Shoes Johnson. And he's fighting. He's trying to get there. Can he make it? Will he make it? Of course he did, because it's on this list as a game winner. Number 6 on the list. Dance for him, White Shoes. Dance for him, White Shoes. Yeah, buddy. You ain't going to hit the split. Oh! Hit the split on him, man. Hey, I got a little Falcons trivia, too, for you guys. Back around number 8, I said that the Falcons had lost 2 back-to-back games. Can anybody guess who the 2 teams that they were? And also, not just the 2 teams that they were. Can anybody guess the score? Well, if anybody's here and anybody's in the chat, you got a minute. Moving forward, though. Moving forward. Number 5. Number 5 on the list.
Road this year in 6 road games.
Michael Vick Prince makes the list. Michael Vick put the Falcons literally on his back, making defenders miss, collide every which way doing it. As you see, look at the ability. Look at that, man. Come on, making guys hurt themselves. Absolutely electric. The Michael Vick experience in Atlanta was nothing short than electric. Michael Vick totaled for 173 total yards on the ground, setting a new post-merger rushing mark for quarterbacks. He also accounted for 346 of the Falcons' 379 yards that day. This win right here made the Falcons 7-0-1 after starting off 1-3. Another thing that kept escaping them was overtime victories, and they had already picked up a couple losses. But with this right here, this magnificent run by Michael Vick, it put them over and gave them an overtime win, that their first one of that year as well. One last time, man, checking out Vick and all his greatness. The Michael Vick experience, taking down the Minnesota Vikings, is definitely number 5. Beautiful, beautiful stuff right here. We're about to keep moving on, y'all. Number 4. Things are starting to get a little different now. We're getting down to the final 4. Can anybody guess what this one is? No? It's all good because I got you. The 1978 NFC wild card game versus Philadelphia. Yeah, that's Jaws right there. Ron Jarowski getting took down by the Falcons' stingy defense. And as you see, things were not going Atlanta's way. Things were not going Atlanta's way at all. But Luckily, we had that same defense, that defense that can cause some fumbles or two, recover a fumble or two, still having that blitz feeling from 1977. So Steve Bartkowski, he would work his magic. Boom. You're already seeing right there. Mr. Francis. Don't forget about Wallace Francis. 6 catches, 135 in this game. And the game winner. Philly, they tried. They tried their best to come back. But look at this, man. Look at this. Beautiful pass. Season's greetings, Philadelphia Eagle fans. Season's greetings. Again, Philly tried to come back, but Mr. Ernie Jackson, he wasn't having it. Preventing the touchdown, Philly would go on to miss the field goal, and Atlanta would get their first ever playoff win. Number 3, 1991 NFC wild card game. Now, after making the playoffs as a wild card team, Atlanta would match up against their most hated rival in their house. Chris Miller to Michael Haynes turned out to be the connection of the day. As you see, Andre Rison also getting a touchdown as well. But the combination was definitely Michael Hayes and Chris Miller hooking up, because Hayes had 144 receiving yards, making big plays just like this one all over the defense, taking it to the house. And this was so special for Atlanta because this was their first playoff win since their last playoff win in 1978. So you see prime time right here, doing it big. And Atlanta Falcons, the bad boys of 1991, showing that they are
time this
indeed
year, they beat the Saints 27-20.
too legit to quit. Moving on. Number 2, 2012 divisional game versus the Seahawks. Atlanta, they were coming in 33-40 in home games under Coach Mike Smith. Those who can recall, Matty Ice was coming into this game also 0-3 in the postseason. And as you see, Atlanta took an early lead. You seen my man out there talking noise, but unfortunately, after being down 20-0, Seahawks came roaring back.
Give Seattle
Right
the ball
here
at
on
the
that
spot of the
play.
fumble. Personally, I think the ball broke the plane before it knocked loose.
So Walt Coleman with the
After
verdict.
reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The ball broke the plane at the goal line prior to coming loose. Touchdown.
So it was a touchdown for Marshawn Lynch.
God, I was feeling just like that guy. Then right here, you have the phantom timeout, Pete Carroll. Who called the timeout? You did, player. It's all good.
From the right hash.
Because this happened.
Good hold. And it is good.
Yes, sir.
Green Bay
Money.
during the regular season. Now the throw to the end zone. It's intercepted by Julio Jones.
Listen to y'all. Listen to these fans. Woo, did you hear those fans, man? Being at that game, first of all, was a blessing. Anyway, just be able at this particular game right here, when Julio Jones caught that interception to end the game, to give Matt Ryan, Tony Gonzalez, Coach Mike Smith, heck, Roddy White and Julio Jones all getting their first playoff, victory. It was a beautiful thing, man. People went home happy that night. I don't care who you are, where you are, what you were doing. If you was watching that game and you was a Falcon fan, if you went to that game, I promise you, all was right with the world at the end of the night. No matter what you ate, I don't care if it was some Ritz crackers. And I bet you they taste great because, the Falcons took care of business. They won 2012. Like, again, everyone getting their first playoff victory, getting it under their belt. We just not going to talk about what happened the next week. We just going to leave that alone because that's still a heartbreaker. I ain't going to lie. That's still a one. But again, thank you guys, Tampa. I can't forget about that. I wanted to give a shout out to Tampa Bay Buccaneers for giving us Matt Bryant, for not re-signing him for, and Matt Bryant, he took care of business as long as he was an Atlanta Falcon until he couldn't do it anymore. And definitely grateful for Matt Bryant. They, I'm saying, people think that kickers aren't a part of the game. They're a very important part of the game. And for the Atlanta Falcons in their history have definitely been a very important part. So we are down to the last one. We are here at the end. Here at the end. Now, number one, a lot of you guys should already know by now just by doing process of elimination. But we definitely going to get into it. Shout out again. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Watch the emotion. Look at Tony. Shout out to Tony, man. Salute. Salute, man. Next time, Russ. Yes, sir. Number one. 1998, baby. And just look at this. Just look at these two right here, man. Hall of Fame. Shoot, man. All I got to say, John Madden and Pat Summerall. I wish I can be just a fraction of what those two gentlemen were professionally, seriously. Now, as you see, 1998 NFC Championship game, Atlanta Falcons versus the Minnesota Vikings. And the Vikings came into this game 15-1 on the season. They had Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Randall Cunningham, John Randall, and more. And as you see, things not going right for the Falcons because Jamal Anderson, even though he did score, he was held to 67 yards on 23 attempts. Luckily, Gary Anderson, who didn't miss a field goal in almost 2 years, gave the Falcons one right there. And after going through a slugfest, the Falcons were able to break the plane right here with Terrence Mathis, one of my favorite Falcon receivers, one of the guys who, put the Falcons on the map for me in my mind. So, yeah, definitely that. And after a slugfest going on in overtime, both teams received the ball, and this was like the last go round for the Falcons. This game could have went all night, but luckily, our Anderson, Morton Anderson, said, absolutely not. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to end this right here. Dan Reeves takes another team to the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons reaching their first Super Bowl. Of course, this would be number one on the list. How could you not? Beating a team that was 15-1. Let me tell you what the point spread was for this one. The Atlanta Falcons versus Minnesota Vikings NFC Championship game. The Vikings were 11-point favorites coming into the game for those who care about spreads and know them. 11-point favorites coming into the game. And that was back then. So, come on now, y'all. Like I said, man, I told you guys, this list right here, this was just my list, honestly. Top 10. Going back through it, I will give you guys a quick, let me see if I can go back here and just do a quick run through of what we just had. So, yes, number 10, Jerry Glanville's first game as an Atlanta Falcon versus the Houston Oilers, his former team. Again, not necessarily a game winner. I know it was definitely a blowout, but at the same time, we went out there and ended the game on prime time's interception. Again, number 9. Yeah, I understand he's our quarterback, but at the time he wasn't our quarterback, y'all. I'm talking about Rocky picking that guy off. Picking off Kirk Cousins back in 2015 to make the Falcons 5-0. Number 8, Mohamed Sanu, game winner in 2016 versus the Green Bay Packers, the first meeting. And that was a shootout as well. This one right here was so special again because the Falcons had just came off of back-to-back losses. Moving forward on the recap. What's up, fellas? I see y'all. My brother Sean, brother Archangel in here, man. Shout out to y'all fellas, man. Thank y'all for coming through. Y'all can catch it from the begin if y'all want to, man. I'm just doing a recap before I get up out of here. Number 7, you see it right here. Prime time, Sunday night. Closing it out. Chet Jones. Yes, sir. Number 6, we're going back in time a little bit against our heated rivals at the time, because the Falcons and the 49ers were both in the NFC West. So this one right here, definitely 1983, coming back down from 14 to go ahead. The Hail Mary pass, Billy White Shoes Johnson. He finds the end zone. Beautiful stuff. Number 5, the Michael Vick experience. Again, beautiful stuff, man. He going to the house. Again, this was beautiful as well. They made the Falcons 7-0-1 after starting off 1-3, keeping the streak going, electrifying Atlanta, and making Minnesota mad a couple times on this list. It seems. It went too far. Don't be trying to mess up my recap. Number 4. Some of y'all may be too old for y'all, but this is from 1978 versus Philly. Yes, sir. Dick Vermeil, they had a 13-0 lead. Dick Vermeil and the Philadelphia Eagles. But luckily for Atlanta, we had Steve Barkowski, and he was able to find Wallace Francis, boom, for the touchdown. And our first ever playoff victory. Number 3, in enemy territory, behind enemy lines, as my man Bit Low Country would say. Behind enemy lines, 1991 NFC wild card game, taking down your most heated rival in their own home, and also getting your first playoff win since your last playoff win. So yeah, that's definitely what makes number 3.
Give Seattle the ball at the
Number
spot
2,
of the fumble. Personally, I think the ball broke.
This one right here. This one right here was for Tony. This one right here was for Coach Mike Smith. This one right here was for Matt Ryan. This one right here was for the city of Atlanta. This one right here was for everybody who came before me and gonna come after me
during the regular season.
Great playoff
now
win.
The throw to the end zone.
Listen to y'all.
It's intercepted by Julio Jones.
Ooh, boy, can't nobody tell me that Atlanta ain't got no real fans, because you just heard them all when they just went crazy just then. All right, again, and of course, number 1, how could you not? Going against a team that was 15-1, going against a team that had all that star power, being an 11-point underdog coming into the game, and you still took care of business. Number 1 on the list, 1998, taking us to our first Super Bowl appearance. Thank you guys so very much, you know what I'm saying, for checking out this list. Humbly thank All right, there we go. Thank you guys again, man, for checking out my list. Please, by all means, man, go back to the beginning and check out the list from the beginning, man. Just giving a little information about each game as I'm going down to the countdown, and didn't want to draw this out. Want to kind of make this video that people can kind of like get to understand the concept and everything where I was going, and then, you know, make a decision. But I do ask you guys a favor. If you guys have any discrepancies or anything about the list, please, you know what I'm saying, let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying, leave me a comment, put it out here in the algorithm, man, so people can get to this list, so more Falcon fans can give their comments about this list. It just was an idea that came about, you know what I'm saying, top 10 Falcon game winners. And I'm sorry, Young Way Cool is not on this list, because I just feel like every other thing that was on this list was a little bit better and a little bit more, I can say, memorable, historic, you know, different things like that. So definitely, man, check it out. And shout out to the ones who did catch this live, but it's always going to be a replay. Thank you guys again. Make sure you guys find your peace today. Positive energy always creates elevation, and that's how you find your peace today. And then, of course, be generational, because it's always time to be. don't you dare settle for less, because you can always have so much more with a vision. Until next time, guys, peace and blessings to you guys. Thank you again. Shout out to all my new supporters and, of course, all my day ones. Until next time, I'll be back in 1 minute. I will holler.
A1. Yeah.